Once upon a time, in a small coastal village nestled between towering cliffs and a shimmering sea, there lived an old fisherman named Santiago. Santiago had spent his entire life on the shores of this village, casting his net into the deep blue waters day in and day out. He was known far and wide for his skill and patience, and his tales of the sea were legendary among the villagers. Santiago's life was simple but content. He had a small wooden shack on the beach, which he had built himself, and he lived there with his faithful companion, a stray cat he had named Feliz. The two of them were inseparable, and they shared their daily catch, no matter how meager, with each other. Every morning, before the sun had a chance to rise, Santiago would set out in his weathered fishing boat, pushing it into the gentle waves. He would row far out into the sea, where the fish were plentiful and the horizon stretched endlessly. With his gnarled hands and weathered face, he would cast his net into the water, patiently waiting for the fish to swim into it. Santiago's patience was legendary. He could sit for hours in his boat, gazing out at the endless expanse of the sea, and wait for the perfect moment to haul in his catch. His fellow fishermen marveled at his ability to catch more fish than anyone else, despite his age. One sunny morning, as Santiago rowed out to his favorite fishing spot, he couldn't help but notice the clear blue sky and the way the sun danced on the water. The sea was unusually calm, and Santiago had a feeling that it was going to be a special day. He cast his net into the water and began his patient wait. Hours passed, and Santiago remained in his boat, watching the sea and contemplating life. He thought about all the years he had spent on the water, the storms he had weathered, and the countless fish he had caught. He thought about his family, who had long since moved away from the village, and the friends who had come and gone. And he thought about Feliz, the faithful cat who had been with him through it all. As Santiago sat there lost in thought, he felt a gentle tug on his net. He carefully began to reel it in, and to his amazement, he found it filled with the most magnificent fish he had ever seen. There were fish of all colors and sizes, their scales shimmering like jewels in the sunlight. Santiago had never seen such a bountiful catch in all his years of fishing. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Santiago whispered a silent thank you to the sea and the creatures that inhabited it. He knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime catch, a gift from the ocean itself. With great care, he gathered the fish into the hold of his boat, making sure not to waste a single one. As the day wore on, Santiago's heart swelled with happiness. He knew that the fish he had caught would not only provide for him and Feliz for a long time, but also allow him to share his good fortune with the villagers. He couldn't wait to see the smiles on their faces when they saw the bounty he had brought back. With the sun sinking low in the sky, Santiago rowed back to the village, his boat laden with fish. As he approached the shore, he saw a group of children playing in the sand, their laughter ringing in the air. The sight warmed his heart, and he couldn't help but smile. Word of Santiago's incredible catch had already spread through the village, and a crowd had gathered on the beach to welcome him home. The villagers cheered and clapped as he pulled his boat ashore, and they marveled at the fish that filled its hold. Santiago wasted no time in sharing his good fortune. He called out to the villagers and invited them to take as many fish as they needed to feed their families. The villagers were grateful beyond words, and they each took what they needed, leaving plenty for others. The joy and sense of community on that beach that evening were unlike anything the village had ever experienced. Santiago's act of generosity had brought the entire community together, and they celebrated late into the night, feasting on fresh fish and singing songs of gratitude. In the days that followed, Santiago continued to share his catch with the villagers, ensuring that no one went hungry. The village prospered, and the people were filled with gratitude for their kind-hearted fishermen. But Santiago's own heart was filled with something more profound than gratitude. It was filled with a deep sense of contentment and peace. He had learned a valuable lesson that day, one that had been hiding in plain sight all along. As the years passed, Santiago continued to fish, but he did so with a newfound awareness. He realized that the sea had always provided for him, even in the leanest of times. He had been patient and had trusted in the abundance of the ocean, and it had rewarded him with its treasures. Santiago also learned the importance of sharing his blessings with others. He understood that true happiness came not from hoarding wealth, but from giving freely and helping those in need. He had seen how his act of generosity had brought his village closer together and created a sense of unity and harmony that had been missing before. And so, Santiago lived out the rest of his days as a wise and revered elder of the village. He continued to fish, not just for himself, but for the well-being of his community. His lessons of patience, gratitude, and generosity were passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of the village's culture. The story of the old fisherman Santiago serves as a timeless reminder that life's greatest treasures are often found in the simplest of moments. It teaches us to be patient in the face of challenges, to be grateful for the gifts we receive, and to share our blessings with others. Santiago's legacy lives on, not only in the tales told around the village fire, but also in the hearts of all those who strive to live with the same wisdom and kindness that he exemplified. And so, as the sun sets over the horizon and the waves of the sea continue to dance, the story of the old fisherman Santiago reminds us that the truest riches in life are not measured in material wealth, but in the love, gratitude, and generosity we bring to the world.
Like, subscribe, thank you.